Okay, this is Glenn Beck. I never heard of Glenn Beck. I just happened to run across the video, seen something that intrigued me and thought I would look into it. And so let's look into it together. This one right here is telling us about a dream that it had, you know. So let's listen.
So the one guy, when they open the door, these guys in the uniforms are in the hallway, and the one guy says, him, and him, take him out. And they get up and look at me, and I'm the only one sitting at the table still, and they go out, the guards close the doors, and I'm now alone with these two people that are clearly in charge of something. They're not political. They're not in a political position. It didn't feel like, it wasn't the president or anything like that. And they are standing there, and then I hear 3 gunshots. And they said, yeah, that happened pretty quickly for them. However, we're going to get to know. And I said, okay. And they said, because you really have no idea who you're dealing with. And that's when one of them reached under like a Mission Impossible mask and ripped off his face. And he was Satan. He was a demon. Okay. Horrifying. I wake up.
Okay, so, it's letting us know that these wicked ones are showing us who they are, basically. Because this is I think Glenn Beck is a devil puppet, a drag king, one of those mastecticized, breastless ones, because I can see the hands, I can see the symbolism. I don't dismiss dreams. I think our dreams in our subconscious does show us things. This one said earlier, and I may have ran across that, but said earlier that it's not good when we don't dream. And I think when we stop dreaming as much is because we wake up to reality. So the things of this world that, we are wanting, lusting, all of this type of shit doesn't intrigue us as much. So therefore, we don't dream because we're not manipulated by what this world is representing. So that's why I think a lot of us stop dreaming. Me, myself, I know I don't dream like that. And I've had dreams, and I have dreams that I remember, and all of the dreams that I do remember are prevalent to the things that are going on, and I think that's why we need to be more connected, so that when we have these dreams, visions, whatever you want to call it, we can discuss it amongst ourselves and decipher it, because we're not getting this information for nothing.
This was so vivid that I didn't tell anyone for months, and not even my wife. And it bothered me deeply, and I didn't know exactly what to do with that information. And about a year and a half went by, and it still was with me almost every day. Something you just don't forget. And I get a call from a guy who is, you would know his name, big spiritual leader. And he calls me, he says, can you come to my house? I need to talk to you. And I said, okay, sure, when? And he said, as soon as possible. I said, this weekend, okay? He said, yeah. So I fly out. My wife and I stay overnight. We're going to see him the next morning. And that night, I have the exact same dream. And I wake up and I'm just in a panic. And we get in the car. I don't tell my wife. We get in the car and she said, this is going to be nice. And I said, yeah, except I'm having a hard time breathing right now. And she said, why? And I said, because I had that dream again last night. Remember, 10 years, no dreams, 2 dreams, the same one, and then the same one about a year and a half later. And she said, you should talk to him about that. And I said, no. If the Lord wants me to delve into it, he'll bring it up.
And there you go, the Lord and the spiritual leaders. Okay, so we cannot dismiss the fuckery involved in this message that we're getting here. I don't think you should dismiss your dreams. I think dreams are and can be prophetic. And I think that a lot of us get these dreams to show us things, but we ignore it, because we're not, up to our subconscious. We're not up to what we are, how we perceive things, and I'm speaking on a personal level because I've had prophetic dreams. I didn't know what the hell it meant when I dreamt it years ago, but years later, I see things unfolding, and I see that my dreams were showing me things like, for instance, the mask. I dreamed of myself in one of those old-timey war masks, and holding a child's hand, And now, looking at how the whole world is masked up in this pandemic, child's hand, And now, looking at how the whole world is masked up in this pandemic, I know that in that dream, it was giving me a vision of this shit. You know what I'm saying? All right.
No, I don't want to talk about it. And so we go into the guy's house, we sit down, he's sitting on a couch, and he sits down, he sits right on the edge of the couch. And he leans into me and he says, sometimes the Lord talks to people. I said, uh-huh. And he said, and sometimes people like you, he'll speak in many different ways. Uh-huh. Including dreams or visions. And I said, right. And he said, and this is when he leaned in, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I said, uh-huh. And he said, do not dismiss that dream. Do not.
And I want to say that to us too out here. Do not dismiss your dreams. Do not dismiss what you envision, what you see, what is given to you, especially pertaining to the truth. When you believe in the one that gave you a soul and the breath, don't dismiss what you're able to see. And like I said, I speak on this from experiences. I mean, my childhood, I seen things before it happened. Not so much as how they make these movies and shit. As a kid, I had a childhood friend that had leukemia. I wasn't even asleep at this time. I was awake and I saw a casket right there in my room. Then when I went to the funeral of my childhood friend, me, myself being a kid, it was the same exact casket. Don't dismiss things. They block us from who we are. They block us. They don't tell us how we should perceive things, what we get, how we know stuff. But the one thing they have not blocked us from is from the one that created us, that gave us a soul and a breath. And in these times, we are awakened, and we are going to see things. And that's why we need to be unified. And that's why division is so important with them. Because as long as we're divided, we're coming against each other, then we'll never come together and figure out these pieces of the puzzle. And figure out these pieces of the puzzle. And it can keep us locked in confusion.
Ever dismiss that. And I said, okay. He sat back and he said, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. That was it. I have made choices on this show based on that. You might find that ridiculous. Maybe you don't. I will never dismiss that. I'm sharing it with you today, 10 years later, because you must not dismiss what you're dealing with. We are not in a battle of politics. We're not. Politics and our whole culture has become evil. I started this hour talking about what this pedophilia stuff that is going around and how nobody will even say anything that the designer of this uses the hashtag Moloch. That is the god of child sacrifice. This is what we're dealing with. Now, I never thought that people, when I wrote the book, Eye of Moloch, I never thought the average person who was involved in all of this stuff even believed in any of that. But they are being put into situations where some leaders, and I'm not talking politically in this particular case, I'm talking about that designer, I do believe they know what they're doing. And we are worshiping Moloch. We are worshiping Baal, and they are demanding our children as a sacrifice. You have to get to a point to where you are going to choose a side.
And we can stop it right there. And that's exactly where we are, fam. We are at a point right now where, you can't hide what side you on. You know what I'm saying? The shot broke that down. You can't hide what side you on. It's that's the real thing that's going on right now. It's the ones for the creator, for the righteousness, and the ones for wicked. And the shot it's the mark of the fucking beast. It is. It's the mark of the beast. And so what y'all, a lot of people, placebos. Okay, you may be getting a placebo or whatever. And if your ass got a placebo, then, hey, you got a second chance. Because maybe you was tricked. So maybe all of the ones that was tricked truly didn't know, got the placebo. But the ones was running towards wicked anyway, maybe they didn't. Who knows? But in these times right now, this is what the fuck it's about. It's about picking a side and ride. I've been saying that for years, since I came on the scene. It's about picking a side and ride. And if we're going to stand for the creator, the one that gave us a soul and a breath, then we need to. And dismiss these little devil puppets, but don't dismiss the information. Because I think in the schematics of things, they have to tell us. They have to tell us the truth. They can cover it up, dress up a old lady into a boy like this one here. You know what I'm saying? And feed it to us. Give us fake gods like the Jesus and spirits and all of this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Try to dilute our minds. But we ain't weak and we not stupid. And we can see. But what we need to remember is We got to choose our sides, and we got to stand no matter what. And it ain't hard, children of creation. It ain't hard. Stand for the one that gave us a soul, put us here to represent that, represent our souls, represent each other, and to represent unity. And let's stop fucking up the unity. That's for me too. Y'all be safe out here. I love you.